And we are live. Mike, no turning back now. We're live.
Here we go.
Live on YouTube.
Ready,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. So obviously, introduce ourselves. Mike Petrusky, Steve Todd here, founder of Open Source Workplace. Mike, host of Workplace Innovator podcast. So Mike, how did I loop you into this? How did I drag you into this?
I don't know. How did you do this? Like, I don't have enough to
And
do
we
already,
are
Steve.
live.
It's unbelievable. No, I think
know.
the times call for unusual participation, connectivity. I want to be out there and talking to my community of podcast listeners. I know you have friends. We all feel kind of cooped up in our homes and away from our normal routines. And I'm a very social person. I'm a very, I don't want to say extroverted person. It actually takes some effort for me to get out and going, but I once I do, I feed off of it. So the fact that you gave me the opportunity here to have a daily conversation, a check-in with a friend from the industry, a workplace leader that I admire, and someone who I have gotten to know here over the last couple of years, I'm thrilled to be here.
No, thank you. Well, I'm honored, obviously, and sort of for those people who are watching, this came about really, really quickly. Mike and I had a conversation last Friday, around about lunchtime. We sort of pitched the idea, talked about it, and we thought about, well, why don't we try and do it? We give ourselves the weekend to sort of a green light, red light, and we try to work it out. And not on screen and behind the cameras is the reasons why we're able to do this. Alec Dinkoff, who's been fantastic, who does a lot of videos with me for Open Source Workplace. I was chatting to him on Sunday, and he went, "I can do that." And I went, "Oh, okay, great." So here we are. So just letting everyone know that Alec Dinkoff, he's behind this. So if this falls, it's his fault too.
Yes, blame him. Blame Alec. No,
absolutely.
We got to give a shout out as a guy who has been his own self-produced content creator for many years now, whether it's a podcast or a webinar or a live stream. It's a lot of work to kind of see all the moving parts. To have someone kind of watching from afar is very reassuring. So
no, it is.
It's a nice
it is. So let's sort of try and provide some sort of overview of sort of what we're planning, and sort of let's talk about what this isn't. Right, this isn't a webinar. I don't know about you, Mike, but I sort of feel like I fill every day at the moment with webinars that I get influx. But obviously, this is not what we're looking to do. We're looking for this to be a very casual opportunity for the whole workplace industry to escape for 30 minutes. And provide an opportunity for people to sort of raise awareness of people who have really been really good for them at these moments in times. You know, I just think about my own experience, and I think if I look across, all NASDAQ facility managers, the people in the background who are really working hard, last person to lead the ship, so to speak, and shout out to those folks. And I'm sure you're seeing this. You're so connected to the IFMA community. So, audience, if you're listening, there's people you want to give a shout out from your organization who you think deserve special mention, put some comments, raise awareness, and let's try and use this as a platform to share that as well.
Absolutely. That's why I was so eager to jump on board. The vision I had when I started my live stream with iOffice, which is actually today, every week from noon till 1 Eastern, that's a once a week affair. And I thought that's a lot, in today's world or in the old world. But in today's world, daily is what we need, because we need to keep up on top of things each day, a place to come and have a conversation. So I love YouTube. I love the format here with the chat box. I hope people will take advantage of talking to us, with us. We don't want this to be Steve and I talking at you. I don't want you to even think it's just Steve and I talking to each other, although I'd be happy with that, Steve, just to get a daily dose of your insight and perspective and experience, because each day I'm faced with new questions about what the workplace will be doing, not just today, tomorrow, next month, but in the coming years. I think we'll forever be changed by what's happening in our world today.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think there's a lot of, and I know what you see, I see changes already afoot, right? Changes in approach to sales processes. I mean, you work in the marketing department, you've seen a change. I've seen a change. There's very, very little cold calling these days. But then there's also, you think about the services the industry provides. We see a change in perspective and sort of direction with that too. So I'm really excited by some of the changes that are coming. I think the opportunities as well for innovation are there also. I mean that from the services that are provided, but also I think for organizations, right? This brings, opportunities to really test some things, ways of working, flexible working. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the whole industry evolves through this process.
I wonder what you think about this, Steve. And I want to be kind of upfront about this. I hope to be honest, real, transparent, and it's hard, right? As human beings, just getting on this camera in this webcam and talking in front of, tens or ones of people right at this point, right? But hopefully the audience will grow in the coming days and weeks, and we'll be a place where people can come and have that dialogue each morning. But even just going out and putting yourself out there is a difficult thing. And it's something that I've been grappling with for years. I know you have too, since you founded Open Source Workplace. And you're a casual guy, a laid back guy. I'm a control freak by nature. So I want to be able to control everything, control my appearance, every word I say. I edit my podcast each week. The old format was you record a bunch of material, you edit it down, and you make it sound good. Well, I think in today's world, because of the need for authenticity and the need for us just to get real with each other and face some of these challenges together, I think these types of conversations are going to be so much more valuable if we just put ourselves out there, be open to making mistakes. And again, I want to start by saying, if I do say something that's insensitive or uncomfortable for someone, I don't mean to do that. I don't mean to offend. I think Steve and I kind of both agree that in these unprecedented times, we don't want to take anything we're talking about lightly or not be serious about the significance of what's going on in our world. But at the same time, we want to bring some of a relief from that, I guess, on a day-to-day basis, and kind of help each other, take our minds off of the war going on out there right now against this virus, and maybe kind of find some peace of mind and solace and understanding between each other and between the audience here. So we want to talk with you, hear what you're really experiencing. So I say I want to be lighthearted without taking things lightly. I mean, my personality is one where I'm known to break into song occasionally, embarrass myself with some terrible singing and tell a bad joke or two, but none of that's meant to do anything to minimize the seriousness of what's happening.
No, well said, Mike. Well said. That, and I saw a graphic this morning, just sort of, it's we'll think about the current situation that we're in, and it's actually on the BBC, where it illustrated where we currently sit in the global cases for COVID-19. Yeah, man, please. So the
Alex
first
got the ability to share slides, so this will be interesting. So, if he can pull something up for us to bring graphics to this. But so the first morning review, right, Steve? You got up really early. I got up about 5 minutes ago. Took a quick shower and showed up at 8 a.m. Eastern time. This is way early for me, but you've been up for hours. You've been monitoring the news from the UK. So bring us up to speed. So, tell me what's going on today. Sure,
man. So this is a graphic I saw. I couldn't believe it, actually, because we get in the US, we're getting so much conflicting information, right? But President Trump saying he wants Easter, everyone back. Easter Sunday, the church is full, is what he's sort of pushing for. And I totally get, he wants to sort of showcase that positivity. But then you see this graphic that comes from the UK where, it's John Hopkins University put this together, where the first 100,000 cases of COVID-19 took 67 days. The next 100,000 took 11 days. The next 100,000 took 4 days. And now 2 days is where we went from 300,000 to 400,000 cases. Now, obviously, as testing increases, therefore the amount of cases increase as well, positive cases.
Right.
But as we operate in that environment, the opposite of that is essential workers. How do we manage those essential workers in our industry? There are essential workers who are allowed to continue their processes. So construction workers. Right, construction workers is considered essential work, and therefore they can continue. And just another story that I was an interview I was watching this morning, where you had a family where the dad is a construction worker, the mother has COVID-19 positive, and they have 2 kids. The only source of income is for the construction worker to go out and work. and each morning they have to go out and work, and it's such an impossible situation, and that's sort of the realities that we think of as industries. We think about what everyone is experiencing right now. It's just, how do you balance those two things? With we have the evidence that shows this, we have positivity trying to be coached to the market, and then we have these other real life situations that people within our industries are really, really feeling. It's so tough.
Yeah, it is. And I was hoping you'd have the answers to these questions, Steve. That's why I come to
I don't
you.
know. I certainly do not. I certainly do not.
It's a daunting task for our leaders. And I've made a point to, on my other live stream, to not try to, again, because we're doing it weekly and things are moving so fast, there's no sense in me trying to, critique the political leaders and what they're trying to do. I know they're all trying to do their best, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. So it's a unprecedented situation, as I've used that word too many times, but it's also one where you're right. If I could just find somebody to cast a vision that tells me how we're going to take care of those folks, how we're going to take care of the hourly workers, the restaurant workers, the people in our economy, the small business owners who are shut down, who drive what we do each day. I think you and I, Steve, being from the corporate real estate world and even in the FM world, those folks are very much knowledge workers in many ways. The FM, frontline workers are out there doing their job, and they're used to this. They've got an experience knowing how to deal with emergency situations and preparedness. It's part of the code of the FM. But you get a couple levels up with management and corporate real estate. And the folks I talk to on my show, they're knowledge workers. They're strategic. They can work from home. They can work from a computer anywhere and be directing their teams. Now, of course, they have a certain pressure on them under these circumstances to not only deal with the workplace, their facilities, the built environment today, but what happens when we do get back to some new sense of normal. And I don't think it'll be what it was before ever again, but what is that new normal? I hope to explore that in the coming days with you as to what you think that might look like, and how service providers, folks that are connected to you through your open sourced workplace network and my Workplace Innovator network, they're anxious to be helpers and be helpful. So I know technology is going to have to move fast. Innovation, that's what my show is all about, is innovation, and not just as technology innovates and helps us, but people, as we change as people, our mindset and our attitude and dealing with these situations. It's not easy. I think I've always talked about for years the challenge of human beings facing change and some of the resistance there, and are wanting to stay in our comfort zone and keep the status quo because that's most comfortable. And Steve, that now we're forced into this discomfort and this disruption. And I just don't want to forget I know there's a lot of questions there in that little soliloquy I just shared with you, but what are your thoughts? Just I'm curious. I want to get to the personal side, because I think when you're dealing with the day-to-day and looking at how do you process information in today's world, I know this will change tomorrow and next week and next month, but what do you look for? Are you looking for that trend line of the cases to get to an understanding of when we might be able to get back to some planning about the future? We're just in a mode right now where we just don't have enough data, don't know what to deal with, and we just have to kind of wait? Or do you look for certain signs to know when it's right to begin planning for the future? I know the president, as you mentioned, throws out a date. He's trying to be optimistic. I understand that. But I think there's danger in also putting out false hope. So we have to balance that. I think we want to be optimistic and positive, at least I do, but we can't predict what's going to happen. How do you do it? How do you process all that's going on when you're reading those numbers and reading the news each day?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question, and thank you for asking. And there's sort of two ways I come at it, right? There's the personal, okay, so what do I do for me, the family, etc., right? What sort of guidance do I give to my family who are spread? Most of my family's in the UK, but then how do I manage that from my own perspective as well? Yeah. Then there is my responsibilities as global head of workplace at NASDAQ, right? So it's how do you balance those? Because from a personal perspective, I've sort of got the mindset that I will get COVID-19. I just don't know when. So in essence, what can I do to ensure my environment is safe and I'm okay? And I do things to sort of optimize my body for that. And then, when I think about my responsibilities for my role at NASDAQ, that's why I absorb so much of the news content today. I typically don't watch the news at all because it's just so negative.
It's a good policy, actually.
Yeah, but at this moment in time, I just have to, right? Because in essence, when you manage a global portfolio, you have to understand what is happening. So, this morning, word came out yesterday morning, late last night, early this morning. Whenever I heard it, India is on a 21-day lockdown. So we have offices in India. So what do we do now as an organization to help the local team to the business infrastructure that's there? Yes, there is a planet, there's a steerco at the organization who are managing and trying to manage these risks. But from a portfolio perspective, I'm trying to manage, okay, so what does this happen? So this is 21 days. So does that mean in a month's time, if it's locked down for 1 month, what would be our strategy for that location? If it's locked down for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, what does that mean for each of our locations? How do we assess the right thing to do? How do we provide leadership with information and options and recommendations for each of those scenarios so that they can make informed decisions? Because in essence, my responsibility is to provide information. It's not to make decisions, right? How do I collect information? How do I pass through information? And then how do I take guidance and then go and deliver what that guidance is requiring? And that's sort of where I'm trying to absorb a lot of the information. So that's sort of, unfortunately, why I'm having to absorb so much of the news, where I typically like to avoid because of the, not miscommunication. I think it's unfair to say miscommunication, but the sort of various voices and opinions of communication. I think that's probably a better reflection of what it is.
Absolutely.
But you must see that too. Sorry, yeah. Mike, but you must see that too, because you work for a company that provides analytics software, resources, a platform, workplace platform. You must sort of be evaluating these things too, perhaps not from that geography perspective, but in essence, I have to imagine that new ways of working. You as an organization, and I'm assume there are many organizations in a similar position as iOffice, and we'll be trying to evaluate what are their next steps. How do we innovate from this position? What if this is the new norm? When do people go back? How does that impact, so many different things?
Oh, you hit the nail on the head, Steve. It's something that is very challenging for us because, and again, I'm not in the role of leadership and I'm not the one making those strategic decisions, but knowing that our vision is one that is fast moving or has been, and it's one where we depend on data. We look at information. We look at numbers. We look at what the marketplace is telling us, what our customers are telling us they need. And without that right now, it's this kind of vast emptiness of data. There's a lot of parallels, I feel, between what's going on in the world of workplace and software, workplace tools, and also our personal lives. It's that lack of information that is so scary in many ways because we just don't know. And we are analytical, logical people, as you said. We want to look at the information, analyze it, break it down as best we can, maybe use AI to help us along the way and make some decisions, some decisions that will allow for the business outcomes we're looking for, right? It's all about outcome-based decision-making. And whether it's in our personal lives, dealing with this virus and knowing how best to take care of ourselves and our families, or looking at our customers and how to take care of them in this new scenario, or just taking care of our company and the direction of our company. We have an incredible team of IT professionals who are always mapping out the product roadmap, they call it. And it's this constant moving and evolving design and plan on how they'll put the resources in place to develop the next functionality or the next tool that will allow our customers to achieve their goals. And it's all right now in a position of we're gathering as much information as we can. We're looking at the situation on the ground, but here we're only a couple of weeks into this. What will look like another couple of weeks from now? As you said, the numbers are accelerating, the things are changing each week. So I guess my my role here, I guess, when I'm interviewing people for my podcast or doing my live stream or doing this show each day with you, it's going to be just to remember that we're all in this together, the same boat, that hey, it's okay to say, I don't know. I think the answer sometimes is I don't know. And I certainly am uncomfortable saying that because people come to me and come to you, right, Steve, for what's your best recommendation? And we may be wrong, and we have to be able to fail fast, accept that. But it's all about looking at the data we have. And I think that's going to be our focus in the coming days and weeks and months, is to really look at how our businesses going to rethink their workplaces when they go back. Will that change their visitor policy? Will it change their employee experience policy? What does sickness look like in the workplace? What are the rules, the parameters in place in this new age of social distancing? Will activity-based working be more embraced? Will it be something that we have to really be prepared to deal with new ways of working? I think there's so many different strategies out there for workplace, and I talk to so many great experts who have opinions on this, and I hope to hear from them in the coming weeks as well as they see things happening. I want to bring this up, Steve, before we run out of time. It's going by way too fast. I just looked at the clock, but I knew that half an hour is going to go by way fast each day. You've got some friends over in the UK from the Leesman Index, right? They analyze workplaces in all those ways we described. They gather data about the people and the places and how people are working, and they put a real, as best they can, a number to this, right? They kind of come up with outcomes. I heard they're gonna start doing something. I saw a tweet and I heard from a friend yesterday. They're going to try to start putting a number on the effectiveness of working from home. Is that right? Did you read anything about that?
Yeah, similar. I saw a tweet, or I saw a headline. I saw something. I haven't really dug into what their product is or what their how their math formula works or what's involved with it. You're so right. I love what Leesman does. I love how they present data. They tell great stories that allow you to really absorb a concept, a methodology, or an application of what it is their research is showing. They're really clever. They've done a great job. So I'm really curious to understand. I also how you would measure that. That's something else, right? And also if you measured it, and it's everyone's situation is not ideal at the moment, right? There's so many people. They're probably sitting around their dining room table with two parents working away on their computers, kids doing their homework, and so on and so forth. But I think again, this is where the evolution takes place, right? So you have an organization who are acclaimed to be one of the best measuring tools out there for workplace productivity and workplace design, and now they're evolving their product to bring in working from home. So even when the lights go back on, so to speak, they're now going to be in a position where actually they're going to be able to provide leadership companies with a great tool that not only measures the workplace environment, but then the at-home environment, also the flexible workplace. So what if you've got a hybrid situation? Can they then measure the optimal way for you as an organization to measure what works for you, what works for the teams within your organization, the departments, the locations? Because the world is different in every geography. The work processes and the tasks that people do in each geography can be so different from to company. And if you're able to get your hand on some of those metrics, provide benchmarks from other organizations that you're able to do, well, that becomes real valuable information. So as we assess how this works for each company and leadership team, evaluate how this is working for their organizations, having access to this information can only help them make decisions, But you're so right. Time is moving so fast. I did have a whole ton of stuff to go through, but we just keep going.
We've always got tomorrow, Steve.
There you go. I know.
Tomorrow for dreams to come true.
Love it. It just isn't right if you don't sing whenever we're not on, and obviously I'm sure at some point we'll come to your Yoda impressions. I do love this.
Right.
Yeah. But I do want this to be a resource for the community, right? We want this to be a community podcast, not podcast, live stream. We were still trying to figure out what is this going to be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we want people to share pictures of them working from home. What is their work setup like? How do we sort of build that community? So there is an email, oswdaily@gmail.com that we've created, where you can send images where we will share as part of these daily broadcasts. If you have jokes, you can send in a video, you can send in the actual words, and we will do our best to sort of tell that joke. Mike, I think you'd be a lot better at telling it.
Memes too.
Memes as well. Yes, thank you.
A little bit of a lighthearted relief. Yeah. So just share with the best work from home memes and things like that. Also comment in the chat box. That chat will be available during the live stream, obviously, but I think there's an opportunity to comment below after this video lives on YouTube. And again, each day it'll be different. And I hope the community here, I'm going to make it something that I make aware of this is brand new, so I haven't had a chance really to share with my podcast and other broadcast communities. So when I get on my live stream today, I'm going to share about this and hopefully get people to cross over if they want if they want just a little bit of once a week kind of encouragement, it's there. But if they need it daily, this is an opportunity. So, and we'll get through this together with each other, right?
Yeah.
We'll share. We'll tell stories. I've got so much to ask you, and it's so great to have someone I can know that, when something comes up, I read that news article or I hear that story, or I feel bad about something or concerned, or I don't know the answers. It's okay to bring it to you the next day, and I hope we're kind of the human side of this will be a real thing as well with our audience, because I think people are going to be out there feeling isolated. We didn't even scratch the surface of the layer that we have to put on top of all these measurements, which is that human factor of the mental health and well-being. We're all struggling with anxiety and learning a new thing and learning how to operate in this new environment, in this new reality. And if we can help each other there, I'd feel like we did something good here.
100% agree with you. So use the comment section to shout out people. If you want to shout out, you want to send a video where you're shouting out, again, send it to the email, oswdaily@gmail.com. And we'll take a segment, we'll share, allow you to, be it a colleague, be it it's a vendor, be it your company, your leadership team, whoever that is, share that with us, because there's a lot of really good people doing a lot of really good things right now that is often unseen. So let's help showcase those people. Let's give those a shout out, and let's use this as the medium. And if you want to share this video, please do. Put in the hashtag OSW, and we'll sort of allow people to share this and sort of connect with us on a daily basis.
So we're going hashtag OSW or hashtag OSW daily. Or what?
Either works. Why not both, man? Right? They say when someone gives you A or B, you take both, right?
Don't get confused, folks. If you do a hashtag OSW search and you find a bunch of images of Hulk Hogan, it's not us. Yeah. That's the different thing. Old school wrestling is also OSW, but we're going to take over on social media, the hashtag OSW, and be about open source workplace.
Right. But that said, though, Mike, I think if people do give the thumbs up, we should think about you getting in your Hulk Hogan outfit, because I think that may be worth saying. And then we could hashtag OSW, and then we were right in there,
Let me tell you something, brother. I'm happy to bring Hulkamania to this daily live stream. Let's do it.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right. So look, thank you, Mike. Again, look, I really appreciate you jumping on this so quickly. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your humility in trying to be a part of this and wanting to share something and wanting to do something. It's really, it's good. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. And I look forward to doing it with you, and we'll get through this. So have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right, man. Cheers. Thank you. Take care.
Peace out.
Thank you, man.